And joining me now is Saagar Shaikh, who stars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Miss Marvel, now streaming on Disney Plus. Sagar, I say this to all my guests, and I always mean it. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I was really looking forward to this interview in particular, though.
Thank you so much. Did you say you don't always mean it, or you do always mean it?
No, of course, I always mean it. That's why I'm like,
you mean it,
but I.
Oh, okay, I got
you. Now, before we start talking about the show, you're from Texas, I understand. Where exactly in Texas are you from, though?
I am. I'm from Southwest Alief, Texas. SWAT Alief. Yeah, I was born there. I moved to San Antonio when I was 14, so went to high school in San Antonio, and I did college in San Antonio before I moved to LA.
Nice. Do you still get to visit from
Alief hard, man.
There you go. Yes, we love to hear it. Do you still get to visit from time to time, or are there any special places in Texas that you like to frequent that maybe you just can't find anywhere else?
Yeah, I love visiting. I don't get to come too often anymore. I come maybe like once every 6, 7, 8 months or something. But there was a place that when I lived in San Antonio while I was in college, I would go to almost every night. I worked there for 3 years. Even when I wasn't working there for another 4 years, I went there every night. It was a hookah bar called Sultan Cafe, and the guys, my best friends, the guys that own it, and they sold it recently. So now when I go back, I don't even have that place. I have no home, man.
Well, you always have a home in Texas, my man. Tell us, how did you get into acting?
I was in business school for at UTSA, and I was just like so bored with what I was doing, and I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to do that would make me happy. And I remembered that like in middle school and high school, I would take like theater classes, and I was like, I had fun doing that. What if I like took that seriously and like segued into that? And so I did just that. I was like 23 at the time, and 22, 23 at the time, and I just like started Googling like how to become an actor. And I was like, okay, so you got to get headshots, you have to get an agent, you have to get a reel together, but you need footage to get a reel, so you need to like self-submit. So I just like went through all the motions, figured stuff out. And when I was looking for an agent, it was also at the time in college where you got to look for an internship. So I went to my academic advisor and I was like, hey, help me get an internship. And she gave me like a bunch of applications, and I didn't care where I worked because I didn't want to do what I was doing. So I just I just threw darts and figured one would stick and I'd get an internship, right? And I ended up going to interview at this place, and it had management in the name. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm a business management major. Let me just interview there. And I went in there and there was all these headshots everywhere. And I was like, oh man, where am I? And I found out that it was a talent management company. And so they ended up hiring me as an intern, but also signing me on as a talent.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, it was this crazy coincidence that just happened. And so, they started sending me out on auditions. I would book some commercials here and there. I got a little confident, took a bunch of acting classes, workshops, would do a bunch of taped auditions. And then when I graduated college, I told my parents the moment I started acting, I was like, when I graduate, I'm moving to LA and I'm going to do this. And they're like, yeah, we'll see, like we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And the bridge we crossed, and now they get it, But yeah, that's kind of like how I started getting into it.
Well, okay, so you told us through that journey, but whenever you say you kind of threw darts and we're just hoping for a hit, did you ever think you'd get to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Hell no. This is like the creme de la creme, like it's the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Before I got this job, I was auditioning for like little commercials for non-speaking roles. I've been doing it for 12 years now, 10 years before I got the job, but non-speaking roles for commercials or various one-liners for shows, and I never got any of them. I did a bunch of commercials. Yeah, those are fun, and they kept me afloat for a little bit, but I had to have a real job throughout the whole process. But being in the MCU, that wasn't even on my radar. That was like a 10-year goal,
Yeah. Well, so what was it? Tell us, what was the phone call like whenever they said, "Hey, you got the part"?
Well, my agent and manager were like conference calling me, and they never do that. Like, they've never done that. So I was like, this is weird. What's going on, guys? And my agent was like, well, we got some good news. And I knew it right then, right when they said that. And yeah, they're like, you got the part, and you're shooting in Atlanta. You're moving there in 2 weeks for 6 months. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, this is crazy. Oh, I cussed. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Tell us about your character. Why is he so significant?
My character is Kamala's older brother, Amer, and he's like her third parent, but like the cool parent that she doesn't necessarily listen to. He's like the friend parent more than anything. He's like her. He tries to be her guide, and he wants her to be his baby sister forever. But also, he's like learning to trust her more, and to realize that she's not a kid. She's growing up. She's gonna make her own decisions, and not all of them are gonna be decisions that he would make. But that's kind of the nature of a sibling relationship, right?
Yeah. Is your portrayal as her older brother inspired by anyone, and what all did you do to kind of prepare for the role?
My brother. Did my brother tell you to ask this question? I told him when I was auditioning for this role the first time, I read it and I was like, oh my God, this guy is like Saqib, like my older brother, and I was like, all right, let me just like goofy up a little bit and try to channel my inner older brother.
Saagar Shaikh.
What was that?
I said, we enter your inner Saagar Shaikh.
My inner Saagar Shaikh, yeah. And yeah, so I just like, how would Saqib respond to this? Not if he was talking to anybody else, but if he was talking to my younger brother, because I have a younger brother too. And the relationship that me and Saqib have versus me and Samer, my younger brother, or the relationship that Saqib has with Samer is really different than the relationship Saqib has with me. He like little brothers him a lot more than me. And the age difference between Amer and Kamala is a big age gap. There's like, it's not specified, but I imagine it's like 8 years. And so he like really baby sisters her, but in a goofy way, where he's still playful, but serious. And so that's kind of.
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about, aside from the fact that he is the older brother, like you said, kind of like the third parent. Could you explain the significance behind the older sibling, especially in South Asian / Muslim communities in America?
Yeah, it's different with every household, right? But in our household, and like my cousins, that I've lived really, really close to my whole life, and I've always been really close to, the older sibling dynamic within our family is very like, this person is your third parent. You will respect them. You will listen to them. They are right. So whatever they say goes. And they think they have a lot more rules than we do, but no, they don't. They can do whatever they want without getting in trouble. And they get to experience those things, but they don't. They choose not to. And because they didn't do those things, the other siblings can't do those things. Does that make sense?
A little bit. Let's elaborate. It makes sense for me. But let's elaborate for those that aren't our South Asian viewers.
Yeah, like Hassan Minhaj said this thing in his stand-up special where he was like, we walked so that you can run. I don't think that's always true. You know, I think uh, I think in my situation at least, I feel like I definitely had to break more barriers and walls than either one of my brothers did, and maybe I didn't have to. Maybe that's just like me being rebellious, the rebellious one of the three. I'm a middle child, in case anybody was
I
wondering.
didn't know that. No one knew that.
I have big middle child energy. But yeah, I had to fight a lot and for things I wanted to do or things I wanted to get, and I didn't think that my brothers had to nearly as much as I did.
Gotcha. Well, and on that note, what are your thoughts on the show's overall demonstration of representing South Asians and Muslims?
I think it's doing a fantastic job. From just the vibe of the show to the music to the characters and the nuances between all the like archetypes of characters. I don't know if you saw episode 2. It's airing on Disney Plus
I
right
did.
now. But I really love the scene where they are it's at Eid and they're like going to all the different like archetypes of people, the pockets of different types of people that you would see at a masjid. Because like, as comedic as that is, it's really true.
It is.
All know all
It was
those types of people.
that and the your shoes getting stolen at the mosque.
Really big. That's a really deep cut that everybody understands. Everybody that goes to a masjid knows that that's a thing. Keep your eyes on your shoes. Put them in the safest corner. Put them high so that people can't reach it.
Yeah, my mom was telling me that that's happened to one of her friends last week. I was like, oh my God, no, not the shoes.
The mosque shoe thief.
Yeah.
Struck again.
Can you tell us then what it also then means for you to be on Disney, arguably the world's biggest studio that's showing representation of South Asians and Muslims in a positive light?
I mean, I couldn't ask for a better opportunity. I couldn't ask for a better job. I mean, I guess I could have. I could have asked to be Miss Marvel, right? But no. It means everything to me. Like I just hold culture so close to my heart. I mean, we wear it without even wanting to. So like, I've really embraced it over my life, and to be able to be a part of something that's just like putting it on such a, I mean, the largest platform in the world, arguably, right? And for it to be authentic and truthful and positive, is not something that a lot of people like us have gotten to do in our lives. And throughout my career, I've said no to a lot of auditions. I've never gone into an audition for like a terrorist role or like a taxi driver or like convenience store clerk or IT guy. I don't want to do any of that stuff, right? I probably lost out on a couple of jobs, but like we're so much more than that. We're three-dimensional humans, just like friggin', I mean, any TV character you see, and so to be on a show that does it just the right way is more than a dream. More than a dream. I'm so blessed and so happy to be working with Sana Amanat and Iman and Rish and Yasmin and Mohan Zenobia, everybody attached to the show. We've just all become so close. It's been really cool.
Let's talk about Iman Vellani, who plays the titular character. She was in high school like 2 years ago, and this is her first on-screen debut as Marvel's first Muslim South Asian superhero. There's a lot of pressure in and of itself with that, and considering this is, on the heels of a Marvel series that's 10 plus years in the making. What's it been like working with her, considering her not being as seasoned as some of the other actors on set? In other words, what are some ways you might have helped her almost as a big brother on set?
Iman is she was very new, right? But she picked it up so quickly, and she had so much support on set because everybody knew, like, she's this is her first job. She's so young. She's so impressionable. She's you know we all kind of knew that our biggest mission besides this job was to protect Iman, protect her, be there for her, help her in any way she needs it. Even if that means, like, giving her some alone time, letting her collect herself and figuring things out, which honestly she didn't need a lot of that. She was a trooper. She came in, understood the assignment, and did it better than anybody in the world could have possibly done her job.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Only 2 episodes have aired so far. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'll admit I haven't read the comics. How would comic book fans, I guess, react to the show's, I guess, authenticity to the original source?
Yeah, so like a lot of people love what we've done with the show. We kept it true to the comics as much as we could. There are some aspects of the show that needed to be changed to fit the larger scale of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But we kept in a ton of Easter eggs during the show. Adil, Bilal, Mira, Sharmeen did it. Sana, Jenna did a. Jenna is our supervising producer. Sana is our executive producer. They just did a fantastic job at like being the leaders of the show, and sticking true to a lot of the aspects that came from the comics. There's a lot of scenes that we did on the show that if you pair it up next to the comics, they're almost identical, word for word. So that's something that they wanted to do for the fans, for the super fans that like knew, hey, they got this from the comics. And
it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. I think a lot of people, at least on Twitter and Reddit, I read those way too much. They really appreciate it when they put them side to side and they can see that, hey, they took this source material straight from the comics.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because a very close friend of mine who is a comic book fan was really excited about a particular scene. He said it was ripped. I think it was your intro scene, if I'm not mistaken. You're talking you're talking with Mohan Kapoor, who plays the father. How crazy is it to get scenes like that to give to the fans?
It's amazing. There was a few scenes. There's been a few scenes in the show that have been like that, right? Like straight from the comics, and it's so nice because it's like when I read the comics, I felt so seen, right? I was like, oh my God, I know this surah, I know like, or this dua, and I know this relationship, because I feel like every Muslim American, Pakistani Muslim American at least, definitely has had a moment in their life with their dad that like one of them is being a little more religious than the other, and the other one has like an eye roll moment or whatever. It's so relatable. And so when I read that in the comics, I was like, wow, this is so like amazing. And to have been able to, like, when I read the script, I was like, oh, I know this scene. This is awesome. I'm so happy that they're keeping this, because that moment, I felt that moment, and now millions of people are going to feel this moment as I'm portraying this character from this moment that I once felt. It was amazing.
Well, and what are some things you're most excited about your character even more? I mean, there's like some more episodes to come, without giving too much away.
Yeah. There's not too much I can say about that, but I can say, because it was in the trailer already, that I'm excited that my character gets married in the show. And
what? I'm just kidding.
Watch the trailer, man. Watch the trailer.
No, we've seen it. What are some things you're most looking forward to having viewers and fans experience as the show continues?
Well, I have opted out of reading 2 of the episodes. So I don't even know what's happening in episode 4 or 5. So I
Okay,
can't really answer that question. I just know that every episode is better than the last.
I love that.
So
Is there anything? Go ahead.
I'm excited, guys.
Stay excited.
What's
Is there any? No, I was gonna say yes. Every episode is better than the last. I love that.
yeah. Every
Is
episode is
there
better than the last. It just gets better.
is there anything else you want to add before we conclude?
I think I'm good, man. I think I'm good. This was really fun.
Awesome. Saagar Shaikh, starring in Miss Marvel, now streaming on Disney Plus on Wednesdays. Thank you again for speaking with me. I hope this won't be our last conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I hope so too. On to the next one, right?
Oh yeah.